Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another tutorial. I had a lot of questions regarding IES lighting in Octane, so we're going to go ahead and set that up right now. It's actually pretty easy. I've seen a couple people do it, but I haven't seen the way that I learned and kind of the way that's in Octane documentation. Right now I'm just adding some planes. That way we have something to show off our light. I'm going to make that small. There we go. Yeah, we can see that. Okay, so let's drag over. Go to our shader editor. And I like using planes. You can go in and use an area light, but I like using planes. I don't know. That's how I do it in the other software. That's how I'll probably always do it. Add in a diffuse. And you may have started when you added a new material. You may have gotten like this one right away. Just delete it, hit Shift A. And here, go to diffuse material. I already have one, so I don't need it. And then we're going to add in a black body. That's an emission, so plug it into the emission. Shift A, S. I want an image texture. And this is where I've seen a couple people stop. Put that into the distribution. And I'll show you why we don't want to stop here. If you go over, already downloaded 3, and if you just Google IES light for free, go here and oh geez, my phone heard the G word and turned on. All right, go down here, make that bigger so people can actually read it, and you can download these lights. I don't remember which 3 I downloaded. It doesn't matter. You can download any of them. I think I have this one for sure. Probably one of these. Oh, I guess to download it, you just click it and you want the IES. All right, let's put you over here. And so I'll grab one of those. If I go to my desktop, they don't show up. But if you go here and turn off your filter, this is prepaid. Sure. My versions of Octane, and then there we go. My cheat sheet. Here's my IES lights. So let's grab the first one. And I'm actually just going to grab the first one, the second one, and then I'm going to open the third one. That way I can just select them here. All right, so let's render. Don't want daylight. And we're not seeing anything. So we can up the power. Our plane is rotated wrong. Go, 90 degrees. Put that to 0.25. I think that's where it was originally. Turn down the brightness a bit. And this looks off. See this right here? It looks like it's kind of shifted to the left. And this is where this doesn't work out. We actually have to add in a projection. And I found that spherical projection works pretty much all the time. But where it says object space, go down to normal space, IES. Put that into your projection. Did you see that right there? And then you can add in a full transform if you want. If you want to play with it, you can mess around with the fall off and how it looks and stuff like that. But leaving rotation at 0, scale at 1, and translation at 0 is its default. So then you can go over here, and here you can start playing with your power. And actually, let's go over to path tracing and turn our path tracing GI clamp down to like 1. And yeah, this is very bright. And this isn't to scale. It helps if you're to scale as well. But this is just kind of quickly showing you how to set it up. And then I'm going to grab my second IES light, which I already loaded in right here. There's that one. And then my third one right here. I need a little more power. Yeah, there we go. And you might get lucky if you don't have that connected, but occasionally you'll find another one that's way different. That one doesn't look that bad. This actually looks like the one I had downloaded. Let's see if perspective helps. That did not. Mine are super bright. Yeah, this one was actually really close to what the example showed me. I could probably play around with my transform and find the accurate numbers that we need. I don't usually use IES lights because yeah, like that's messed up. This one I have to put it in here to correct it. That perspective is just crazy. And then it's so bright you have to mess with everything else to get it back down. I'm gonna do like 0.001, hold shift. And I'm not to scale. That's gonna be a big issue too. I really need to be at a proper scale. I don't even know what this one was when I downloaded it. I know that one's correct. And that works with and without being plugged in to projection mode. Which in cinema, this works fine. You don't have to mess with it as much at all. Wonderful. I still love that it's free here. Yeah, that one was actually right. Remember that one was really sharp coming down. And then that's crazy blown out. There we go. More normal. And sometimes I do have to start and stop my render so it updates. And I actually just scaled this down. There we go. There. Yeah, remember to apply your scales. Alright, so let's see which one. Really bright here gave us a big fall off on the ground. Oh, maybe this one? This one? Let's see. Shouldn't have renamed them, should have left them what they were. Just test another one. Let's test. Maybe this one. Turn off your filter. Go to IES 4. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, play with your scale. Maybe download a free architectural scene and scale this down to fit in the lamp. Apply your scale, and then start messing with it here. and that should help a lot. Keep using spherical. Oh wait, not the black color too, or yeah, turn to black color. All these are right now. Or at least they seem right to me. So which one had a pretty sharp projection? Maybe this one. I don't think it was this one. Yeah, I guess it was this guy. Yeah, that looks the same. All right, well, that's kind of the real quick way about IES lights. They're not that hard, you just kind of have to play with them a little bit. Again, spherical projection, change it from world space or object space, whatever it is, to IES lights for the normal space. And what's cool is if you go and you look around, kind of see the light in there. Kind of different. All right, I'm sure you guys are gonna have questions on this. I don't use IES lights, like I said. I just had a lot of questions on it, and I went through the documentation for Octane, and then I remember the few times I had to do it in cinema, I set it up the same way, and it seems to work. You just have to make sure your scale's right. Yeah. And the other question I had a lot was about motion blur, and we can do that real quick. Now there's different ways to do motion blur. Can have, let's get our camera situated right about here. We can have an object. Let's insert a location keyframe, go 10 frames. Location. Let's rotate it. Back up here, rotate it. So now it's doing something. And I know people have gone down here and turned on motion blur, and they'll hit render, and they don't have an environment, so they can't see anything. Daylight environment. Too bright. Actually, where's my world? And north offset. Let's just change this, the north offset. There we go. Now it looks a little better. Okay. So you're like, well, it's moving, but it's not blurry. Let's make these linear. And that's just going to keep the speed constant throughout the whole animation. So you've turned on motion blur. You're playing with stuff here. Nothing's happening. Well, nothing happens here. It only happens when you render. So when you in this view right here. So I just rendered this one. But it's still not blurry. Any object that you want to have blur, you need to go to its object properties. Is that what this is called? Yeah. Turn on motion blur. And again, it will not work in here. It only works when you render. So now we've got a little bit of blurry. I really shouldn't have chose white on white. Hold on. Let's just not do that. That's bugging me. And I know it's a quick example, but still. If we can make it pretty, let's make it pretty. Let's see. Let me find where I saved all my stuff. I moved everything around recently. And now I regret it. Okay, here we go. Change gamma to 1. And if your scene doesn't look right and you don't know how to set it up, look at my first tutorial, like the getting started with Octane Volume 1, I think it was, or Part 1. I think I just made a whole bunch of videos and named them Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty much just watch Part 1, and then and that'll help you get going. Oh, and some people ask me why the rotation did not rotate correctly. Because normally in Blender you rotate your Z location. Well, you have to think of it differently. So for this you move the X. So this is your X plane this way. And imagine this giant sphere is where your HDRI is mapped around, because this is just one big circle, and you want to move your HDRI. So for us, what we would do is on our X, let me, this is a bad example. Rotate X. This is a terrible example. All right, let's look at it like this. So if I want to move this whole thing this way, I'm gonna rotate it along my X plane. Which Blender, you rotate around your Z, but this you're gonna you don't think of it as rotating. Think of it as pushing it. You're gonna push it this way, and since it's round, that in turn is gonna push it in a circle. So that's why you move it around the X. Okay, that was explained horribly, but I hope you get it. If you don't get it, watch it again and then play with this. Okay, let's see. Let's make this darker because it's bugging me. Okay, there we go. So now when we render, oh yeah, one thing at a time. We have motion blur up and down. And if you want nicer motion blur, or if you are rendering a vehicle and your tires, when you do motion blur, get really small, which I've had, turn your steps up. That will actually put them back to normal size. There we go. Nice motion blur. So perfect. Another thing is, if you have a chase scene, like a vehicle, there's two ways I've seen that people animate cars on roads. Let's see. I promise this will be worth it. Let's see here. Array these. Not that many. That's dumb. There. Grab another array. Move those over here. And you know what? We don't need this. Going there. Put in a cone. This will be your car. Super high quality car. Nope. Put a keyframe in for your location. And then, you know what, actually let's put that at the start of all this. And then go to 60. Put this down here. Location. So I actually was animating a vehicle flying down the road, and I had the camera parented to it. So that way, as it moved, the camera moved with it. But what I was getting was if I render here, nothing's blurry, right? Well, first of all, we have not put motion blur on our high quality street lights or on our road. So render, okay. Well, wait, why is this blurry, right? That shouldn't be blurry because we didn't put motion blur on it. Well, what I figured out, which I'm probably going to explain terribly also. I grab this, put motion blur on it. There we go. It's not blurry. Pretty cool. And the way I thought about it, which I don't know if this is right, is the camera is locked to this, right? So the only thing not moving in the camera's eye is this guy. Granted, I still don't think I should have to put motion blur on it, but with motion blur on it and the camera is completely locked to it, the camera is not seeing this as having motion blur. Now, if we had wheels spinning and stuff, those would still be blurry. And if you went and, let's see, go to animate. Go to your graph editor here. So your Z location, let's put a little bit of noise on it. Oh, this will be bad. Watch this. Oh, actually, it's not that bad. See how it's kind of, okay, that is bad. So turn your scale up. All right, so did you see that how it was kind of floating? So it's still pretty sharp. It may have a little bit of fuzz on it, but you would get that anyways with like a follow camera or which is like a camera on another vehicle. Oh yeah, I was rendering doing that, wasn't I? Oh yeah. Hold on, I'm dumb. Sorry, bad example. There. Motion blur only shows here. So now we'll get the not perfect camera effect. Adds a bit of realism to it, even though this is not the best scene for realism. And you can even keyframe your camera's rotation. So here, this guy is a little bit fuzzy because if you have a chase scene or a follow scene and the camera's whipping back and forth or moving around, your vehicle's still going to have a little bit of motion blur on it. Not as much as the static objects like the road or the light post. It's still going to have a little bit, and like it shows, it barely has motion blur on it. It's still very, very visible. Or you can just render this as a layer, render these as a layer, and just have motion blur on everything and no motion blur on this. But it won't look realistic. And now if you want to do something stylized, that's up to you. I think motion blur is pretty cool. I don't usually render it in After Effects or anything like that. I normally just do it here. And I think really that's it. I know I kind of flew through these. The IES lighting, just remember scale. Remember your scale, use real world proportions, because those lights, they have a wattage output. So, I mean, if you're 25 times the size and then you've got some crazy value for your power, yeah, they're going to look horrible and blown out. So just always work in real world scale. I, of course, did not. So I would definitely recommend you do. Also, this is kind of cool. If you take your camera and go like right here. Delete all the keyframes, make sure this is following it. All right, so it is. Wait, did I put the, you know what? I didn't put the noise on the camera. I put it on the vehicle. Yeah, still works. Whatever. Now it's flying. But if you render now, what on earth? Oh, yeah, because we changed our views. Let's get that environment rotated around so we can actually see in front of us. Now again, we're not rotating it, we're moving it along the X. There we go. Oh, of course. There. All right, so render. Yeah, these guys right close to you have motion blur. So all this stuff will be flying at you. And it's so fast. I love this. I do love the new 2.9 optics. Optics is wonderful, and it definitely helps with viewport visualizations. It doesn't take half as long now. If you've got a 10 series graphics card and above NVIDIA, you have access to it. If you have, I could be wrong, I can't remember what Intel processor and above, you have another option that'll work for you, or you can leave it on automatic. Actually, let's see. And it'll render super fast, but yeah, that's why I love Octane. Octane's so quick. All right, here, denoising. Viewport or your render. Leave it on automatic if you're not sure. Optics. Oh, it tells you. Nice. Runs on CPU. Only available on NVIDIA GPUs. Cool. So yeah, love that. Okay, well, hopefully these were helpful to you. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. I do try to answer all the questions. I appreciate all the questions and the feedback. I'm hoping to do a lot more tutorials. I think the next one is actually going to be one more explainer style like this. We're going to make lasers, which is super cool, like a laser scan effect. But other than that, after that one is going to be a full follow-along tutorial where we're going to make something kind of cool. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the comments. Bye.